Okay, hey everyone. So in my last video, I discussed about these so-called requirements, and what I mainly mean by them is properties. I should have used that word in the last video, but I just didn't really think of it on the spot. I've left a pinned comment, but I don't think that's going to help, or like most of you might have not seen that. So you can just think of these as properties for a certain command, just as you would have properties for a certain part. So I'm just going to replace the words and just make everything look much more neater and organized. So just give me a second. So our first property, you can say, which would be the name of the commands. Okay, so I also wanted to make a small clarification and small test at the same time. So for this, I'm actually gonna open a new. Can I open? Okay, you know what? It's fine. So for this, I just want to test something. So we could do a table within a table and access that using a for loop. And I just wanted to do if we could do that 3 times. That is a table within a table that's within a table. The reason why I'll tell you in just a second. So I'll go to Explorer. I'll go to Source Script Service, create a script like that. I'll make my first table, local my table. Let's call this my table 3. Alright, for now. So in this I have 2 values. Hello. How can I do this? Okay. Command. Okay. Okay, you know what? We'll actually test this out later. So what I actually want to do is, if you watched my last video, our 6th requirement or our 6th property, you can say, was basically a second name for this. So now I just wanted to make that simple and make the first property a table itself, which would contain all the names you want. So it could be 1 name, it could be 2 names, it could be 3 names, how much ever names you could ever want. We could all embed all those names in the first property. So I just want to try that out, but I think to test that we'll do that later. So for now, first property is going to be name of the command, name of command. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm kind of done. Now we can. So now, if you've seen, I've also just made a some of a syntax. You can say I'll put commas here. So so basically, I've made 5 properties. I've removed the 6th one. I'll tell you why later on. I'll just remove all this. We don't need this anymore. So wait, yeah, there we go. So I've pretty much kind of simplified. So I'll just go over it all again. So first property is name of command, the name of the command that is to be set by the player. Second property, argument type, how the command needs its arguments. From the third property is server side, from where the command is run from, that is server or client. Fourth property is a link to the event, link to the actual link to the bindable event or remote event. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'll also replace this with commands. I'll tell you why later on. Fifth property, first arg is player. Determines whether the first argument is player or not. Great. So now I'll tell you how we're gonna use this. So first, we're going to make a table of all our commands. So for that, we're gonna do simply local commands local, oh, you know what, I'll call it commands, yeah. And the bottom, you know what, I'll just put it xyz as another command. Just follow that. Local commands is equal to, we're going to open a table right now. We'll press enter because this table will span multiple lines. So now we're going to create our first command for our commands, right? So let's say I want my first command to be an announce command. Announce command. All right. Yeah. Announce is equals to. We'll do a table. So this is how our table is going to work. So we have a local commands, which is a table that will contain all the admin commands. Then inside that we're going to have announce, like our own, our like first thing you can say, or first element you can say, and that element is called announce, and that will be is equal to a bracket, another table I mean. And in that table, which is the pretty much the sub table, in that sub table we're gonna do a space again, and this is where it all works. So first property is name of command, the name of the command that is set to be by the player. So I'm gonna put announce, right? This is gonna be a string. I'll mention that right now. String. String. Second would be argument type, that would be 1, or that'll be number. Okay, so I've simplified the second property as argument type and then number. How the command needs its arguments, and I've given like a sample message. Prefix command arguments is basically the sample, like the way admin commands are going to work. And there are 3 possible ways it could be done, like the command could require. So the first one is arg1, arg2. The first, okay, so the first term that is between spaces right of the command, and the second term after the arg1. So arg1 and arg2 are like the first 2 words after the command. Second is everything else after the command, pretty much self-explanatory. So everything after the command. Third one, arg1 and then everything else. So the first term after the command, and then everything else. So the first one could be like a player or something. So the first term, and then the second argument would be everything else after that. So for our command, which is announce, the first is going to be name of command that is to be used by the player. Second one would be it's a number. It's not a string, it's a number. So what would announce be? So the way announce is going to be work is going to be like announce is going to be like, it's like slash announce, hey guys, this is my message. So basically what we need is let's say prefix, right? Command which is announce here, and we're going to take everything else that's after announce. When I say after announce, I don't mean the space is included, I just mean everything like after the space. So prefix and then command and then everything else right after this. So everything else, right? So that means we're going to take second one, that is everything else after the right of the command. That's exactly what we need, because this whole thing, we're not giving in our first argument that is like a player or something. We're not giving that. So so what we're gonna do is hold on, I just know this line. So our second one would be 2, like I showed. Second one, everything else. Third one is, okay, the third property, server side, from where the command is run from, server or client. So this one is actually going to be number 2, number And this one's gonna be three possibilities. One from server, and if it's one, make it should definitely be a bindable event. Like you can't say, oh, it's from server, but then and you're linking a remote event. That just it won't work. We'll do the error handling for that later on, like a different video. So there's three possibilities for the server side property. The first one is from server, second is from client. Again, these are all from all clients. Third one is special because remote events have basically like if it's from server, it can be done to a server, to client, and then you give the specific client name. And third one is from server to all clients. So in that you don't have to specify a name, like a username. It'll directly go to every player or every client here. So we have three possible cases. That's by number 1, 2, 3. One is from server, 2 is from client, 3 is from all clients. Fourth property is linked to event. This one is going to be an object event. Before we do this, we're going to make a simple folder in replicated storage. Okay, is it called a folder or file? I think it's called folder. Yeah, we're gonna make a simple folder, and we're gonna call this folder admin. Oh no, we'll call it command events. Okay, call it command events. Replicate storage, right? Okay, command events, and we're gonna insert right now. So basically, the way I want announce to work is a UI that pops up on every player screen. So when I say every player, that means all clients. And when I talk about UI, it should be like a client side. It can only be from a client side. So that means all clients. But right now, I'm not going to make the UI. I'm just going to do a print statement. But I'll still be using a remote event because it's going to a client, right? So that is server to all clients, and hence I'm using remote event. I'm going to call this remote event announce. Simple announce. The name of the command is also announced. Like the name of the table is also announced. So I'm just going to call it announce. Now before this, I'm just going to make a new variable in the module script only. I'm going to call this local command events. Because this linking is going to happen so many times, it's way better to just use a simple variable. So every command of that can be done easily, right? So we can do command events. We can do equal to game colon let's do wait for game colon get service replicate storage wait for child command. I always usually do this when it comes to replicate first and replicate storage, because sometimes they might not load or some issue. Just for the sake of it, I just use wait for child command events. I don't sometimes use them, but sometimes I do use them. It's confusing. Okay, wait for child command events. That's it. So that basically gives us the link to this folder. So we could do our third one could be command events dot. Remember the remote event we just made? That's exactly what this is going to be, like a link you can say, or an object path, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be a third one. Now, what's a fourth property? That's linked to. Okay, sorry, I made a small mistake. So third property is actually going to be all clients, right? I told you it's going to run from every player. So third property is going to be 3, which is all clients. So that's, I'll put 3. I'm just going to call this argument type, and then we call this server side. Command events to announce the one we just made. And I'll call this link to event, I guess. Is that what the property name is? Yeah, link to event. And I'm just gonna put this as well object. I don't need to mention anything. Oh, sorry, object. And yeah, here I can just put x instead of xyz. I can say command events. The variable we just made, command events. Is command events. Yeah, this is the variable. I'm just gonna put it exactly right here. Fifth property is the first argument a player. So our first argument is going to be pretty much everything else, because our argument type is 2. So it's the first argument, which is everything else, is not a player, it's a message. So why would we need to look for a player with that text? So we can put a comma here, and we can put false. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. I'll call this is first layer arg. So yeah, this concludes the properties for the first command that we really need to do. If you want to add a second one, at the end of the announce table, I can just put a comma. Next one could be like speed, and then I could make my own table, and then so on. But right now, I'll do just one announce command for now. Okay, let's go back to our main script for a second. It's been a while. Oh, we've already been till here. If player admin true. Okay, yeah, this is exactly where we need to be. It's fine. So right now, what we're actually gonna do is splitting to find, that is the command, the prefix, and so on. Now we've already given this string.find, and that basically tells us the prefix is at the beginning, so we don't really need to check that. So what we'll actually start off with is local. What do we need to do? Okay, so we could do local. The message is there, so I can do, okay, so if we have the message, right, we want to separate the prefix from everything else so we can get access to our arguments and then our command and so on. Also note, commands cannot have spaces in them. So if I say like direct message can't be like this. Direct message has to be direct message or has to be DM. So we are not taking in spaces. Now what we can do is, if s player admin is equal to true and then string.find, we can say, let's split the prefix from everything else. So to do this we can do local everything else. I'm bad at variables, it's fine. Local everything else is equals to string dot split. So we're gonna split the string. Our main string that we're gonna split is the message one, and we'll split it by prefix. So everything else. Now what is that's going to be returning a table. So when it so when it returns to the first character is the prefix, right? So when it returns the table, the first one is going to be nothing. It's going to be like this, a string with no character. That's what the first one is going to be. So let's just do second one. Okay, we don't want the first one is going to be empty string, so second one, that means alright, everything right after the prefix. So that's the second one. So in like the second one, the table, right? That's what we need. Now we've got everything incorporated in one. So now what we need to do is separate the command from this. So I can say local command is equals to everything. Okay, I'm gonna string dot split everything else. Now everything else is split by a space, right? We're gonna do slash speed, then a space, the first argument, then another space, and then 25. So everything's split by spaces. So look, we can say local command is equal to string dot split everything else, we're separated by a space, and the first one to come in this. So that means we're just dividing everything in everything else by a space, and the first one from that is the command. So great. Now so we've extracted the prefix and the command. Our basic ones are prefix. Just never forget this. So our basic one is prefix, command, and then we have arguments. So this is the basic structure. You can also put like a sender if you want, but that's not necessary. We're not gonna really use that. We've checked it already if the player is admin, so we can leave that. So now we've got a prefix. Our prefix is obviously, but we've done an if statement, so it obviously exists. And there's always, the prefix is always constant and it doesn't change, it's always slash, right? And we found out what the full command is. So now it's time we move on to the arguments. Now for this, but actually we haven't actually returned the commands thing. So when we want this script to talk about the commands that are in its that are in the module script, we also have to return the whole commands. So if you go to the last line, here, sorry. So if you go to the last line, I'll actually put this somewhere here. Control X. um, yeah, for now I'll just put it here. And the last line, we're just going to add the commands in this singular table. So we can do commands. Boom. Now all the commands will also be sent when we do the require thing. So I can say local commands is equals to require script up, and just like the first two lines, this time it's going to be the third one, right? The third thing. So that's going to be our table. That's now we've received the table of commands. Okay, so now what we'll do is some testing right now. So what I can do, so I can say, for now I'm just gonna call it just for now, just for temporary testing purposes. Local temporary is equals to string table concat is this table concat. Yeah, this is the table, right? So that is actually, you know what, let's just leave it at that. And then we can just say and for now, just for temporary purposes, I'm just ending the video soon, so I can just say local argument is equals to string, is a string, yeah, string dot split everything else space. This time it's going to be second one, right? So now I'm just gonna print everything. So print the player who ran the command is player.name. What is player? The player joined, I think. Player connected. Yeah, that's one. Player name. Now say print the command used is command. And we're gonna say print the first argument in the given message. We're gonna give this, we're gonna actually give both of this in single quotes. I just want to see how the space is handled, right? So in this time I'm just gonna call it argument, and we'll put a single quote. We'll press play. Now this should, okay, I'll just wait for that to load. Okay, done. So what I'll actually do is, hey, get it, no, oh, okay, oh yeah, there's no argument, my bad. Okay, so we're gonna do, I'll do a simple, hey, me, the player who ran the command is my name, the command used is hey, okay, the first argument, the given message is me. Okay, that's correct, yeah. We do hey, test 2. The only parent test only, I believe, yes. Okay, the player ran the command is in my name. The command uses hey. I can do announce hey 1. Now, the announce command won't work right now. We haven't coded the command. We haven't recognized if the command is an actual command. There's so much more to do. And I'll just do one more thing before I end the video. So now we have everything we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're gonna first we are gonna check if it's a command within the commands table. So for this we're gonna do a for loop because it's a table, right? We'll do for I I'm gonna call the CMD for I v in in pairs commands do. Now commands is the table that we are calling, and for CMD I'm just going to refer to each of these tables as CMD. So now I'm just going to assign the property name to make everything much more simple. just want to see what happens if you print I. Is it still a number? I think it's definitely a number. Slash. Oh, it does print the name. Okay, it does print the name. Okay, that's great. It prints this one. So that's, yeah, interesting. So yeah, that's it for now. We've substituted the values. So in the next video, I'll be checking if it's an actual command, how the property is gonna work, and so on. So that should be it for now. I'm sorry I couldn't make a command right now. Just trying to make everything like within a certain time limit, so it's not too long, not too short. But in the next video, I think we can do just a bit of checking. Like in the next video we can just do, if it's a command, if it's an actual command, we can incorporate the autocomplete function. Actually, no, we'll put that for later because that's not our priority right now. We just we just really want to quickly make a command as soon as possible. So maybe next video, or definitely next to next video, I will make a command. That's max, like it won't go beyond that. It's only that or the next video. So that's it for now, and I'll see you later. Yeah, bye.